Welcome to Garage Talk. I'm your host, Paul Humphrey Sr. Now, over the years, I've had a lot of help from behind the scenes from DJ and car show promoter, Dr. PhD. Over all the interviews we've done, I've never had a chance to talk to Dr. PhD. So I'd like to welcome Dr. PhD to the show. Welcome to the show. Hey, thank you for having me. So in the underground world of DJing and street racing, you've been really busy. How did all that get started for you? Well, it's a long story. Well, tell the short version because we only got 30 minutes. You got jokes. Anyway, the car scene started for me first when I was about 10 years old. That's when I was introduced to the underground world of street racing. As I got older, I was part of a crew that was heavy into street racing, and my brother David was part of that crew. And I was in the early to mid 70s. After that, my brother started DJing, and so I started working for him as a roadie, setting up equipment to make some extra money. And in the 80s, I started DJing myself. Doing parties for people, which was pretty cool, but there was a lot of music out there that I couldn't play that I really liked, which was house music. So what did you do? Is that when you stopped DJing? No, that's when I started giving my own parties. So that way I can play the music that I like, and I know that my crowd would dance to whatever I play. Also at that time, I was DJing for 2 radio stations and a TV dance show called The Scene.
It's the Super Scene on your television screen. Welcome to it, everybody. Today, you have been hearing the Super Scene mixes, right? Well, you're going to see a video by the man who does our mixes, Dr. PhD. PhD, he's on today. He is going to be our special guest. Hey, a little bit later on, we got Dr. PhD. He's going to pump it up for you. And let me just thank him on television for supplying me with mixes on the radio, the doctor.
The new Power 96 FM will now present one of the hottest mobile jocks in the Metro Detroit area. His name is Dr. PhD. He got his PhD in mixology, although it's still a part of his name. It stands for Paul Humphreys. Devastating. And because it was so devastating, and the house calls were so perfect, they called him the doctor. And now he's getting ready to perform surgery on the airways. Dr. PhD is right here, and he's ready to rock this house. In fact, he's going to perform surgery on your box. So, after 1 o'clock, you'll feel instantly better. And it's because the doctor was here.
As far as the music thing, all I really wanted to do was get into a movie, DJing in the scene or something, but that was about it. So did the movie thing ever work out for you? Nah, that didn't happen, but if somebody asked me, I'll still do it. Now, let's talk about this. You also filmed a documentary about the dangers of street racing, and you hosted a car reunion called the White Castle Days Reunion. Can you tell us how all that came about? Well, back in 2007, I went down to a couple of street races, and right before the people taking off with the cars, the fast cars, you got guys and people running across the street. I went down to another night, and the car lost control, went into the crowd. And, I'm like, that's not how things used to be back in the day. We set it up a little more safer than that. So I decided I needed to come up with something to try and help to make the street racing safer. So I was in talks with Mile and Dragway to see if there was something we can come up with to get the street races out to the track to try and make things, you know, a little safer for the street racers. So I started interviewing the guys at Milan, and you know, as I was interviewing them, I was saying to myself, I need to get some footage on how things used to be down at the White Castle, Illinois and Warren in Detroit. So now I was still going to include Milan in the documentary. It was going to be a part of the documentary. All the things was going good until I started talking about getting the inner city kids involved in the high school nationals. That's when they stopped emailing me, returning my emails, returning my phone calls. So I took that as, you know, they didn't want Detroiters out there in Milan Dragway. So now the fight became more than just trying to make the streets safe. Now we're fighting for Detroit to get its own dragway. So after that, that's when I just cut Milan out of the documentary totally.
Street racing is dangerous and illegal, and one ex-street racer is putting his time and his money into getting that message out to kids. Paul Humphreys Sr. used to race for money in pink slips around the streets of Detroit back in the 70s and 80s. Now he has put together Motor City Street Racers, a documentary chronicling his era of street racing and how today's racing is too fast and dangerous to be done on public streets.
Back in the day, street racing was you know, a lot safer, more organized. And the reason why I did this because I need to get people's attention, the young drivers' attention, because street racing is getting a little wild, and we need to take it somewhere safe.
Metro Detroit has a popular drag strip in Milan, but Humphreys says that it's too far for some drivers. He hopes people will see the need for a drag strip in the city of Detroit where drivers can race safely.
So how did the street racers feel about what you was trying to do? Well, the young cats thought I was trying to shut them down. I needed to use that footage in order to get the city's attention. I needed to promote it like that.
I need a truck in Detroit, because I'm tired of going to Ohio, to Norwalk, or to Mountain, Michigan. I was right here in the city and race my car. Ain't that right?
That's right.
So how did that go? Not good. The city government at that time were more interested, more concerned about what you can do for them than what you can do for their city. And I used the White Castle reunion as a tool to try to get the city council and the mayor's attention about and show them how much money can stay in the city.
Paul Humphreys Sr. is a former street racer who's made it his mission to get these people off the roads. He's produced a documentary on the dangers of street racing. He's appealed to the city council to build a drag strip where people can pay a fee to race safely.
It'll make the streets safer. The city will get some revenue from it, and you know, everybody will be safe and happy.
Now, I also was working on what I call Adopt a Kid for a Day. And that's for all these young street racers out here that don't have a way to get to the dragway. The guys with the trailers will adopt a kid for a day, take them and their car out to the dragway and show them how to do it the right way. It'll be like a field trip for them.
We had so far to go to get to the track, and a lot of these guys out here that's putting these cars together really can't afford trucks and trailers and gas money to get their rides to the track, so they do it on the street. And we end up with, you know, misfortunate accidents, and, you know, people get hurt, people get killed. So we're looking for a solution to, you know, find somewhere to race. We got a lot of vacant property in the city. We got a city airport that ain't doing nothing, it's just sitting there. You know, let's try to put something together, make somewhere for people to enjoy their cars, you know, in a safe, controlled environment. That's very important.
That sounds really cool, man. So how did the racers with the trailers, what did they say about it? They thought it was pretty cool too. They was all for it. So what happened with all the things you were trying to work on? Well, the city didn't support the idea of Detroit getting a dragway.
You know, it's like we got deaf ears down there when it comes down to the community and our youth and our citizens, our taxpayers. You know what? I'm just so sick and tired of being sick and tired of them. But I did go to the meeting regarding some federal monies come in through HUD, Section 3.
Mm-hmm.
So when the council come back, you need to attend the meeting and see what that money covers, what projects and programs that can be implemented to get support.
Well, the thing is, I'm not even asking for their money. The investors
That's
are
even
right.
worse.
The investors are ready. I just ask for their
Wow.
support. I just need them to speak on it, saying that this is something that Detroit needs because it's going to help them. It's going to help
And
Detroit.
they won't even answer you.
And they
You've
won't, no.
written the city council too.
I've been on them for 2 years now.
That's
So
ridiculous.
it sounds like they just want the city to fall.
That's what it looks
No.
like. I mean, 'cause they say they need money, and we're
Right.
trying to make the streets safe. So why not do both at one time? So
Yeah, So
Absolutely.
it sounds like they're on the mission to complete the failure issue.
exactly.
The White Castle got a new manager that didn't want the reunion back. So in 2012, I moved out to Arizona. But I was still fighting the fight, trying to help Detroit get a dragway, even from Arizona. So after going to Arizona, did you do anything in Arizona? I tried. I had an event out here. People tried to block it, man, and they tried to make it difficult for me. But I still had a good show. Had quite a few people show up.
Okay, how y'all doing? My name is Steven Carrera. I work for the city of Goodyear, taking care of the Cincinnati Reds. I'm glad we brought the car show out this weekend, bringing a little awareness to the west side, what we have to offer out here, showing off our new stadiums, the Cincinnati Reds, Cleveland Indians, and our main ballpark. We're getting all these car shows coming out here. This is our first year on this one. It's good, like I said, good to bring awareness to the west side. All the car shows seem to be on the east side right now. Paul Humphreys did a great job bringing this car show out. The people are very excited to be here. We're getting a lot of compliments on how the car show is set up. Wide variety of cars, sports cars, classic cars, everything that's exciting to all of us car lovers. So I hope we make this a good event for the future. Next few years coming out, it's a good event. Thanks for your participation.
You know, but in order for me to do it again, I would definitely need a major sponsor. So Detroit, did they ever do anything about getting a dragway? Well, 2015, I was able to talk White Castle into letting me host one more event. At that time, the mayor, the new city council, they were already talking about making Detroit part of the Detroit City Airport into a dragway. So after that, White Castle didn't want to do anything else with the reunion, and you know, that was it. That's it? They just left you hanging like that? Pretty much. Looks like my Detroit days are done. You know, all I wanted was for Detroit to get a dragway, and it looks like that's about to happen. So I'm happy about that. I will take my car out there when it's done and do a little racing. So are you going to start up anything else in Arizona? No, no events. I just go back to the world of underground with my house music and my grudge racing, and put my car in a couple of shows out here on the West Coast, and just enjoy, you know, doing the car thing out here on the West Coast. Now that's my short version, because you said we only had 30 minutes. Man, you had a lot going on. Well, that's going to do it for us. I'd like to thank Dr. PhD for taking the time out to be on the show. Thank you for having me, and thank you for allowing me to tell my story. I'd also like to thank everyone for tuning in to Garage Talk. I'm your host, Paul Humphrey Sr., and we'll see you next week with more Garage Talk.
Yeah. foot down.